Week 3 is a wrap, guys. I'm sure some owners in our league are happy it's a wrap after a couple tough losses. Just trying to get on to the next week. Going into the power rankings straight off the bat, not too much has been changed with the power rankings. We're going to start with our first team, who's still number one, Johnny Salami. He's 23-4 overall record on the year, number 2 in points, right behind me. Salami's team's freaking good right now. Clicking on all cylinders. 2, Wonder, dropped down one spot. He was tied for first. Tough loss to me. He's only 17-10 on the year. I think his team is a lot better than his overall record, and I think he should be 3-0 right now. He took a very tough loss against me. Probably should have won. I think I got a little lucky, but sometimes you got to get lucky in fantasy. I bump up a spot to number 3. I'm 19-8 overall on the year. Number 1 point getter in our league. Number 4 is Tass. He drops down a spot, which is weird because he had a sick week, but I don't understand that. Number 5 is Laz. He stays the same. He's 3-0. He's only 14-13 on the year. Laz has gotten really lucky. He is number 5 in points, but he's gotten extremely lucky playing against some teams that have really underperformed. 6 is Gordo, jumping up 2 spots. Love the additions to Gordo's team. Like I said, he was going to make trades, and literally he made a trade the day after I said that. Traded to get DeSean Jackson. I think Pete was in panic mode to get a tight end. Didn't like the move from Pete's perspective. I wasn't huge on DeSean Jackson, but Gordo sold a backup tight end that he's probably never going to start, and rookie tight ends are never good. Number 7 is Dom. He jumps up 2 spots after a horrible loss. One of the worst decisions I've seen in a while. He's 10-17 on the year. I'll go into that decision when I'm talking about his matchup. Number 8 is Mashy. Drops down a spot. 9-18 overall in the year. 8th in points. Mashy's having a tough time getting shit together. Along with Jack, number 9, who drops down 3 points. 8-19 on the year. Damn, Jack. What the hell? And then Buckets are lowly last place power ranking. He's in last place overall in the league. He's 7-20. He has the 10th most points. Buckets is reeling. He needs a win this week. He doesn't get a win this week. He's all but out of contention for the playoffs in my eyes. Going to the pickups. As Gordo kindly just told us, Dom wavered a kicker. I have no clue why. Completely wasted his waiver spot. I don't know what spot he had, but it was a waste because he could have had that kicker for free. Greg Zerline. Jack with a nice pickup of Wendell Smallwood. I like Wendell Smallwood after Sproles getting hurt. I could see him being that passing back in that offense. They love to pass. The Eagles do. I don't know if he's going to get a lot of touches with Blunt being there, and I think he's going to be the short yardage back, goal line back still. But Smallwood definitely, I think, is gonna hold a little bit of value in this league as long as they don't sign anyone else. Jack also claimed Travis Benjamin, took a flyer on him. Hopefully Keenan Allen gets hurt for his sake. And Wonder added Blake Bortles from waivers. I think Wonder's readying up a trade. He locked up a quarterback. Bortles had a solid week last week against the Ravens, but he still is Blake Bortles. And then I was working perfect on lunch break. As soon as the waivers kicked in, I picked up C.J. Mosley, Chiefs D, Will Lutz, 1, 2, 3, bango, bango, bongo. And then Buckets and D also woke up, taking some guys. Buckets took a defense. D took a couple tight ends, another defense, a linebacker. Jamal Charles he picked up. Gordo with the ad of Brandon Oliver just now. Mike Wallace, like those two ads. Well, I like Oliver. I don't like Mike Wallace, but Oliver's a good handcuff. I don't think he's that good, but if he's got a job, he probably is going to be a running back too. And then Geronimo Allison and Zach Brown. Geronimo Allison, he probably saw from everyone saying pick this guy up. And then he dropped Mike Wallace real quick. It's funny. So going into the matchups, I'm going to start with the matchup that I really wanted to talk about. Not my matchup, unfortunately. My matchup is the matchup of the week. But the second best matchup is going to be none other than T.Y. very much and cooking up the medicine. I'm going to talk about the good first, which is Salami's team. Salami's team is very good. Very good. Aaron Rodgers with 33 points. Stud. He's going to do this every single week. We know this, guys. Devonta Freeman, Carlos Hyde, both with 25 points. Hyde coming out of nowhere against the Rams with 2 touchdowns. He got hurt in that game, but he came back. He had a little hip thing, but he's good. Ty finally busted out, 31 points. Jacoby Brissett looks like a decent quarterback. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like him just because he runs. But that offense needs Andrew Luck really bad for T.Y. Hilton's sake. He should be coming back in a couple weeks, so definitely Hilton's going to get a little bit of a bump. Doug Baldwin hurt his groin, still went off for 10 catches on 105 yards and touchdown in 3 quarters. Man, Dougie's good, man. He's a wide receiver 1. We know this. Crabtree absolutely shut down. Josh Norman, he got the Josh Norman treatment. He got pooped on. Yeah, and then nothing really else. Just those guys all exploded with over 25 points. So that's key. You get like 5-6 guys doing that. You're gonna score upwards of 200 points every single week. My next point on Dom's team. Dom had such a good week that got completely outshined by such a bonehead move that he made. Dom drafted DeMarco Murray with the 32nd overall pick. So that's 10, 20, 30. That's the 4th round. He benched his 4th round pick for Jonathan Stewart, number 1, in his flex spot that he could have started 2 other guys, and Lamar Miller. DeMarco Murray should be started right there. He has to be started right there. I know he was banged up and they might have limited his workload, but it doesn't matter at that point. You start J.J. Nelson in that wide receiver spot, and I really don't like it for the simple reason that he was a little banged up. So you're saying J.J. Nelson banged up and DeMarco Murray banged up. You rather start J.J. Nelson, who was a waiver claim. I really don't like that move, Dom. It wound up costing you the week. It shouldn't have, but it did. And your team is you're reeling right now. I mean, that's a really tough loss. You start Miller, you start Jonathan Stewart, both with 7 points. Anyone else in that flex spot wins you the week. Rashard Matthews, I could see not starting him. Even Sterling Shepard, I could see not starting him. But DeMarco has to be started in one of those spots. He just needs to be. He was your 4th round pick. You start your studs. That's the number 1 rule of fantasy. You start your studs. The only reason why you bench your studs is if a stud isn't a stud anymore. I.e., if a guy loses a job, if a guy gets hurt, if he's playing a tough defense, it still don't matter because he's still a stud. You saw that 75-yard run he had. That's why he's a stud. That's why he's a guy. He's a guy that you could rely on because he pops off those big runs like that. I mean, he really had nothing else doing besides that, but even more so, he's that guy. He's that dude. You got to start him, man. Sterling Shepard on your bench throwing 30 points. That sucks. He housed that 80-yard touchdown. I was going nuts. It was great. But yeah, all in all, you had a really good week, Dom. Kirk Cousins, Eli Manning finally coming back to life. They were averaging 10 points each before this. I think your quarterbacks are decent. I'm not seeing Kirk Cousins as a quarterback one this year just yet. Again, like he was last year. Definitely not in that 6-7 range anymore. Maybe more towards the back half, 11, 12, 13 range. Dalvin Cook, that kid is a stud, man. 27.9 points, catching 5 passes for 72 yards. He's going to be a good PPR running back. He could be entering running back 1 territory soon. And then A.J. Green finally coming back to life. 10 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown. They got to get him the ball in order to get that offense started again. Everyone knows that. But yeah, Dom, really bad move. You gotta make it up somehow. You're 0-3. You're in a really bad spot. You go 0-4. It's really tough to climb out of that hole. You're gonna need some help in the future with guys losing and stuff. My second matchup is gonna be the matchup of the week because I couldn't fucking wait to talk about this matchup. It's my matchup between Wonder. I win by 1.5 and there's no better feeling than to beat Wonder by 1.5. I'll tell you that much now, guys. Going into the week, I knew I wasn't going to score. I thought I wasn't going to score a lot of points. I had really bad matchups with my quarterbacks. My running backs had bad. My running backs had bad matchups. I had to start Buck Allen because he was my best matchup. My wide receivers had decent matchups, but yeah, I didn't think I was going to score more than 160. I thought I chalked it up a loss. I mean, that's why I picked up Calvin Munson with 2 points. I chalked it up as a loss, to be honest. I had great games by Mariota, 26 points. Kareem Hunt with 28 points. Yo, Kareem is a fucking man. He's a running back one. He is the second best player in the league right now. Yo, I think this guy might finish as the best running back in football. And it's safe to say, like, Andy Reid has just said that they're not going to limit his workload. Why the fuck are you going to limit his workload? He's like 23 years old. He's really good, this guy. He has big playability. He's had a 50-yard touchdown 3 straight games. That's like Tyreek Hill status. He busted out a run. Yo, that run, I was going nuts. That run actually put me up to 177. And that run kind of won me the week because if I don't get that run for that 70-yard run and a touchdown, I probably wind up losing the week because, well, I do wind up losing the week because of that. And then Stefon Diggs had a monster week. 40 points he throws up. 8 catches, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. Stefon Diggs entering that wide receiver 1 territory, maybe? I don't know. He's around there. Well, Wonder, you had a decent week. You had a good week, but your quarterback play was absolutely atrocious. Quarterbacks are going to win this league. Matt Ryan with only 16 points, 6 yards away from the bonus. That sucks. And then Phillip Rivers got absolutely embarrassed by the Chiefs. 1.9 points. It didn't help that Flacco also threw up negative points on your bench, so you really didn't have a choice. You had to start Rivers. Ah, man, that really does suck. You get 3.5 points from Rivers. You win the week. Like, God, that sucks. My bad, Wonder. But McCaffrey looks like a good wide receiver option. I don't know if Kelvin Benjamin's hurt. I think he'll be fine. They said they thought it was serious, but they don't think it's serious anymore. But he had a wide receiver game. He had 9 catches for 110 yards. Yeah. That was his coming out party for McCaffrey. Best game of his career. Then Montgomery didn't do too much in the rushing or receiving department, but he had 8 catches, which is huge. 13 points. I think he's a workhorse, man. He's on the field a lot. He's on the field like 95% of their snaps. So he looks like a workhorse. If you're going to be on the field that much, you're going to have chances to make plays. You have chances to make plays. You have chances to score fantasy points. You have chances to score touchdowns. I could see him averaging like 18 points a game. Sliding into running back 1 territory, Ty Montgomery. Good shit, Wonder, with him. Odell, 2 unbelievable touchdowns in the end zone. Acting like a dog. Peeing all over the Eagles. Odell's good, man. Those 2 touchdowns were they're going to be on his highlight reel. And they literally came like 5 minutes after each other. And then Dez Bryant gets absolutely shut down by Patrick Peterson. Yo, the one play he had yards was the touchdown. They were in zone coverage. Patrick Peterson wasn't even on man on him. The other play, he had -3 yards. He got shut down by Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson held a wide receiver to negative yards, believe it or not, when he was manned up to him. Then Keenan Allen, only 11 points. If you're throwing a touchdown there at 17 points, a great week. Zach Ertz, he might be a top 5 tight end right now. The way they're passing the ball, the Eagles, him and Wentz are best friends. They love linking up. I really like Zach Ertz the rest of the year. And Devontae Parker, what the fuck? The guy had fucking 1 point going into the 4th quarter, and then all of a sudden, he's the next coming to Randy Moss. He winds up with 21 points. Really fucked me. And then Sukup with 16 points. Wonder, good pickup with him. My next matchup is going to be D and Mashy. 154 to 139. D with another win. He is 3-0. He's tied for first. And his team only scored 154 points. Again, what the fuck is going on? This kid D is getting a little lucky. His defense is really coming out to play. Breeze and Prescott both with 28 points. That's solid. You get that every week from your two wide receivers. You're going to win a lot of weeks. But then your running backs, really under 10 points for combined between Gillislee and Anderson. I don't know what the hell happened with Anderson. 2 weeks ago, he looked like the second coming of Emmitt Smith. But Gillislee, I don't think any running back at this moment on the Patriots should be owned. Well, not owned, but started at least. It's just a crapshoot every single week. He could give you 4 touchdowns, but then he could just throw up a dud like that. Doesn't catch a pass. Only has 31 rushing yards. That was a high-scoring game, too. Cooks with 35 points. Unbelievable catch on the sideline to win that game for them. 5 catches, 131 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Cooks coming out party. Love Cooks, man. He's really good. He helps out that offense a lot. He didn't have that too good of stats the first 2 games, but he was way better in real football than fantasy football. Now it shows up on the fantasy football side how good he is. Devontae Adams, yeah, after fucking me, he only runs up with 9 points. Thanks, cocksucker. And then Tyreek Hill, 5 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. This guy Tyreek Hill could be relied on, man. He's boom or bust, but he busts, and it's still a good week. He's 3rd right now overall for wide receivers. He's having a really good year so far. Yeah, and then D, I also didn't like this move. Jordan Howard benched. I tried trading for him, and you knew something was up. I knew Jordan Howard was good. I was figuring this guy was a 2nd, 3rd round pick in most fantasy leagues. Tariq Cohen comes out of nowhere. He does what he does, whatever. Maybe I could buy low. And I offered a few wide receivers. You said no. Very smart move to say no. He came out of he got hurt last week game. He was in a sling, but he wasn't on the injury report. He wasn't hurt. I don't know what the hell that was. I don't know if it was him saying oh no, I was hurt. So I didn't have that good of a game. But he had a really, really good game against the Seals. Ran all over them. 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, 33 points. Benching studs. Can't be doing that. D, you know you can't be doing that. You drafted him 28th overall, 3rd round pick, man. You got to be starting him no matter what. I don't give a fuck. If he's questionable, if he's D and he's playing, I'm fucking starting. I'm starting the dude. I don't give a damn. Yeah. And then, jeez, -6 from the ball. These defenses are fucking crazy, man. You can't rely on a defense. The Baltimore, first 2 weeks are the best defense in the league, and then the Jacksonville comes out of nowhere, scores 44 points on them, and they go -6. Sometimes you might as well not start a defense some weeks. I think that's what guys are going to do. I figured my plan is to have a defense later on in the day or Sunday night or Monday night, because you got to figure you don't want to go negative on the early games. You'd rather go negative on the later games just in case you're up. And if you're up maybe 5-6 points, you don't got to start the defense. You bench the defense. If you're starting defenses at 1 o'clock, you don't know what the fuck's going to happen. They go negative early, you're fucked. And you can't get those points back. So I'm picking up defenses that play Sunday night, Monday night. I don't give a fuck who it is. And I'll bench them accordingly. And I'll just roll the dice every single week. Mashy, your team really did horrible. Really bad. You had the 2nd lowest score of the week. And that was only because Jack's team is really, really bad. Derek Carr, he looks like he's in the best offense first 2 weeks, and then he comes and absolutely shits the bed Sunday night against the Redskins. That was a horrible game by him. 4.4 points. So weird. Like, sometimes quarterbacks just have really bad games. Like, good quarterbacks have bad games. Look, Phillip Rivers and Derek Carr, just like, what the fuck was that game? That was horrible. Carson Palmer. They're saying Bruce Arians is saying Carson Palmer is the best he's looked in the 2 or 3 years he's been there. Fantasy wise, I don't know if he's that good. I think David Johnson really helps him out. He is going to be asked to throw a lot more, don't get me wrong. But he was getting sacked left and fucking right. He got sacked 6 times against the Cowboys. I mean, I was counting because I fucking was playing the Cowboys defense. I was like, stop getting sacked, Carson Palmer. But I don't know where he's the best he's been in a few years. But obviously, he has been 29 points, 325 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ezekiel with a nice game, 80 yards and a touchdown, only 18.4 points. Zeke really doesn't catch that many passes, and he doesn't get the receiving yards. He's really good rushing the ball. Don't get me wrong, but he drops down a couple notches because he's not going to be catching a lot of passes. Jordy Nelson hurt the week before with a big goose egg, but he comes out with 23 points, 2 touchdowns. He had a nice game. He started David Njoku. Wow, he scored a touchdown, but he also only had 2 catches for 12 yards. Got targeted 4 times. Jordan Reed's got hurt. Of course, he's supposed to play against my team because he's playing against me, and this is what happens. I have no luck. Yes, Wonder, I have no luck. I don't like Njoku at all. I don't like rookie tight ends. I stay away from them at all costs. I don't want anything to do with them. Nice start right there. You had your back against the wall. You had to start him no matter what. And then, Marquise Lee. I didn't even know the guy was in football. He got shut out week 1. Allen Robinson goes down. He gets thrusted into a starting role. He had a decent game, 4 catches, 65 yards. He's taking a lot of targets over there. I think he might be a nice little flex option. I think you have him starting against me this week in the flex spot. I like him there. He's not bad. He got a little upside over there. And then Luck, he's coming back, man. Eventually. One day he'll be back. I don't know when, but hopefully you're still in the playoff race for it to matter. Next matchup. Marie-Anne Fournette and the Devil's Advocate tasked with a bomb-ass week. 199 points. Russell Wilson, Taz said, I need a big game from Russell Wilson, and he got the big game. 47.8 points, 4 touchdowns, 373 yards. They were playing from behind the entire game, the entire second half. Wilson did his thing. Solid, really, really, really good game. Stafford with 20 points. Decent back-end quarterback numbers. 20 points a game is really good. Ajayi, I think he got hurt against the Jets, only with 4.5 points. The Dolphins' offense looked absolutely dog shit against the Jets. And I thought the Jets had a horrible defense, and they absolutely shut down the Dolphins in all facets of the game. L4 with another solid game, 17 points. He's that dude right now, man. He really is that dude. He also had 3 catches, 21 yards. Nice little added bonus in the PPR. And then my man Fitz, oh my God, the ageless wonder. 13 catches, 149 yards, a touchdown, 36.9 points. Fucking monster game from Fitz. He was all over the field, making really big plays for them. And then Sammy Watkins, huge Thursday night game between you two guys. Buckets had Gurley with 40 points. Tass had Watkins with 31 points. They were going back and forth. One would score a touchdown, another one would score a touchdown. Really good matchup on Thursday night. Tass, nice week. Smoking Black Jack Doyle had a fucking horrible week. I'm sorry I told you to pick him up. I think you got to keep him though. Once Luck comes back, he gets boosted big time. Pete, bottom of the league right now. You're fucking reeling. Really tough spot. I think we know who the brains behind the operation was though. Cam Newton is the worst quarterback to win an MVP I've ever seen. He wound up with 5 points. He had 3 turnovers. I don't know what the hell's wrong with Cam. I never seen a quarterback look so good 1 year, 2 years ago when he won MVP, to now. And it just goes to show how the league really zeroes in on these guys. They get the film, they get the tape, they know what throws they can make, they know what throws they can make, and they just guard against that. And Cam hasn't been running as much because he knows guys are going to start leveling him. He only wound up with 16 rushing yards. How many is that? I can't even. Oh. He's got 27 the game before, 3 the game before. He's got 46 rushing yards on the year. Cam from 2-3 years ago has over 100 right now. He's scaring me, Cam. Really, really bad. Jay Cutler, horrible game. Couldn't do shit against the Jets defense. Only 13 points. Gurley and Bell had two fucking great games. Gurley with 40 points came out of nowhere. I think Gurley gets bumped up. He's in running back one territory again. Yeah, 3 total touchdowns. I think he had 1 the first week. I think he had 2 the second week, and then he had 3 the third week. So that means this week he's going to get 4 touchdowns. Mark it. You heard it here first. Todd Gurley, 4 touchdowns. Michael Thomas finally has a fucking good game. 7 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown. Terrell Pryor, I think he's a bust. I really do. He does not look good at all. He is getting targets, but he's not making plays. Kirk Cousins hasn't looked that good. Jordan Reed wasn't even playing, and he didn't have a good game, which is scary. And then Kelvin Benjamin gets hurt. That sucks. Chris Hogan with a big game, 4 catches, 68 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oh, look at my man Landon with 9 tackles and a forced fumble. He's the man. Wow, Jimmy Graham on your bench, 14 points. I think you traded Ingram for Ingram, thinking Jimmy Graham was hurt, but looks like Jimmy Graham's good. Yeah, Buck. Gotta make moves, man. You gotta do something. And then our low ball matchup of the week. We have Commissioner Gordon versus Brady and the Jets. These two guys made a trade this week, and I will say Rennie Gordis absolutely raped Jack in this trade. Gordis traded Chris Thompson and Pierre Garçon for LeSean McCoy, who is the 13th best running back right now in football, in fantasy-wise, who is a workhorse, who is a running back 1, who Gordo really needed to have the best 2 running backs in the league now. Yeah, Gordo, great trade. Traded Chris Thompson away after 3 weeks that just got better and better and better. The guy that Chris Thompson doesn't touch the ball a lot. I don't know if people are understanding. This guy in college, he was so hurt. He broke his back 1 year. He tore his ACL another year. He tore his labrum the year after that. They don't want him touching the ball more than 10 to 15 times a game. If he does, he's going to fucking crumble. He has a really bad injury history, and I don't know why it hasn't been brought up yet, but if you look back, 2011 he gets hurt, 2012 he gets hurt, 2013 he gets hurt. That's why he didn't get drafted high. He is a playmaker, don't get me wrong, but Gruden said he's not going to get the ball that much. I trust him. When a coach says that, they mean it. They want to limit his workload. They don't want him to touch the ball that much. Yes, he did have a great game, 6 catches for 150 yards against the Raiders. But you're going to keep doing this guy? You're going to give him the ball 15 times? He's a little guy. He's not a big back. He's not going to rush the ball that much. He only had 8 rushes. He has 14 rushes on the year. He has 13 catches on the year. He's had 27 touches on the year in 3 games. That's 9 touches a game. You're saying a guy's going to touch the ball 9 times and going to score 20 points a week? I don't think so. That is very hard to do. You have to be scoring a touchdown every single game, and touchdowns are unreliable. You don't know when they're coming, especially for a guy who's not a goal line back. Gordo, that's a really, really good trade. Selling high on both of those guys, Garçon and Thompson. Jack really needed the depth on his team. He doesn't have that many options at this point, which is weird because he doesn't have an injury. But Gordo, decent week, nothing crazy. You did the bare minimum. You got through this week. You finally got your first win. Really helps out your team. Carson Wentz, Dalton only combined for 36 points. Nothing crazy there. Melvin Gordon gets hurt, only winds up with 13 points. He gets hurt and winds up with 14 points. I'll take that all day. Melvin Gordon is running back 1, top 5 running back right now. Really, really, really good pick. Antonio Brown, 10 catches, 110 yards. I fucking love Antonio Brown. He is the man. He's the best wide receiver in football. And then Gronk, 23.9 points, 8 catches, 89 yards, and a touchdown. And then Jack. Tom Brady had 40% of your points on the week. Tom Brady had 49 points. You had 126, Jack. Your team is really, really reeling. You needed to make a move. You made a move. Garcon is in a slot right into your wide receiver core. I think Garcon might start over Crowder. Crowder has been really having a very off year. Just that whole Redskins offense has been down so far with Kirk Cousins not having a good year. You trade McCoy. I totally see it. That was really your only asset you could trade. Your team is built on your quarterback play. If your quarterbacks are going to be scoring 50 points a week, you're going to win games. Case in point, a lot of the other teams. But when you have guys that score 2.6 points and 4.2 points, you can't win games. You know it, Jack. That's why you did the trade. If Chris Thompson is going to be touching the ball 15 times a game, he's a good pickup. Do I think personally he is? I don't think so with his injury history. He's been hurt in the past, like I just said before. But you needed a spark. You needed a big play guy. He's a boom or bust guy. If he's going to boom and drop 30 points, he's really going to help your team. You get 30 points out of a running back, it's big. But Amari Cooper's been having another case of the drops that he had during his rookie season. 1 catch for 6 yards. He also had a tackle, big tackle. But yeah, that Oakland offense looked really bad against the Raiders. I think Cooper and Crabtree had 2 catches for 11 yards between the two of them. Demaryius Thomas, 6 catches, 98 yards. Very, very high floor, very low ceiling. I think I saw a stat on him. He has 85 catches, 1,000 yards, and 6+ touchdowns the past 5 years. That is a solid wide receiver too. Jack, you had a really poor week. You're gonna have to hope and pray this guy Thompson is for real. If he is, you win the trade. Right now, I think Gordo wins the trade. Just basing it off of the draft. Yeah. Guys, another solid week. Going into week 4. A lot of must-win matchups for guys. I'm looking at you, Dom. I'm looking at you, Buckets. Big time. We have the top two teams going at each other. There will be one undefeated team after this week left. All right, guys. You have a great week. Hope you enjoy the update. A nice Thursday night game. Packers-Bears tomorrow. Good luck, everyone, with your lineups this week. Hopefully you start your studs like I said. Peace.